Hey, real estate investors and wholesalers. Hope everyone's doing well. Joshua Dayra here. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about two really big issues with digital marketing in the real estate industry, right? Mainly for real estate investors. So, I have this presentation put together for you guys. We're going to break down the two biggest problems that I see real estate investors encounter and basically what we do to fix them and how you can dramatically increase the results of your campaign. If you find value on this video, you can find the links in the description below to contact us to either become an agency client where we'll run your ads for you, manage everything A to Z, or you have the option of becoming a coaching student where I will personally teach you how to run ads in your business, and we'll be able to show you how to really do everything. So here's the screen, guys. Two biggest problems with PPC, right? So obviously we want leads in the business, and throughout the years that I've been in this business, which is going on 5 years now, there's been two consistent problems that I've seen with every marketing channel. It doesn't matter if it's direct mail, if it's PPC, if it's cold calling, texting, etc. These two problems exist with every marketing channel, right? Now, the thing is that these problems are harder to solve with PPC. It's easier to solve it with, texting, with, mail, with cold calling, because those are list-based marketing, right? With PPC, we're specifically focusing on keywords. We're specifically focusing on audiences, and it's definitely a big problem that we encounter. So let's talk about problem number one, lead quality, right? So problem number one is going to be lead quality. A lot of guys, they throw up their ads, they start getting some leads, and next thing you know, they're getting listed properties. They're getting other wholesalers who are submitting that information, and they're also getting spam submissions on their website, right? So we obviously want to minimize the amount of listed properties, wholesalers, and spam submissions that we get. We just don't want those leads coming into our system. Our salespeople are told, hey, when a PPC lead comes in, you need to be on top of that lead in literally 1 to 2 minutes. You got to call it instantly, right? Now, the problem with lead quality, and when you tell your employees that, is that you're telling your employees, hey, you need to be on top of these leads in that moment in time, in that second, right? And when the lead comes in and it's listed, or it's a wholesaler, or it's a spam lead, it kind of messes with their relationship towards the channel, right? They start to think like, oh, maybe I don't need to value this lead because it's coming in and it's a listed property, or maybe I don't need to value it because it's just going to be another wholesaler, right? So they stop giving your leads as much attention. And that's a big thing, right? As salespeople, we want to really get put in front of the highest quality leads, and that keeps us motivated. We're just showing up to make the kill at that point, and it can make a big difference, right? So let's talk about how we fix the lead quality issue. So on the screen here, my face is kind of blocking a little bit of the diagram, but solution one for this is going to be what I call funnel friction in a feedback loop with Google, right? So you'll see we have a seller that comes through Google Ads, right? They might type in something like sell my house fast, or we buy houses, even be part of a Performance Max, Demand Gen, or YouTube campaign. They will hit the landing page, and on that landing page, they're going to submit just their address, right? We do not collect any of their information up front. We only collect the address, right? So that's important to note, and you'll learn here why. From there, we're sending them to a survey. In this survey, we're asking them about 10 questions. These questions include, hey, why are you selling the property? What condition is the property in? Are you the owner of the property? Is the property listed? How much work does the property need? What are you going to do after you sell the property, right? So we're pretty much gathering all the information about the seller and the property in that survey. And depending on what the seller fills out in the survey is going to determine whether or not we push that lead back into Google, right? And I'll explain why that's important here in a second, right? So if a seller is going through the survey and they mark that, hey, I'm not the homeowner, or the property is listed, we disqualify them in the survey in that moment in time, and you don't even get the lead, right? It just disqualified. They go back on their day. There's a message that's displayed that says, hey, we do not buy properties that are on the market, and we don't buy properties from wholesalers, right? So we don't buy properties that are listed or from people that don't own the property, okay? And the reason why this is important is because we want to feed the correct data back into Google, right? So if you know anything about Google's conversion tracking, ultimately Google learns based on what we put into it, right? So every time a lead comes in and we count that as a conversion, which is a lead in Google, then Google learns from that and it goes off and it tries to find like people or bids on other clicks that are similar to that click, right? To generate more leads for you. And when you feed it the incorrect data, being listed properties and wholesalers, it's just really not a the correct way to teach Google, right? Now we're telling Google, hey, people who are wholesalers, people who are have listed properties are people who we want to target, right? When in reality they're not. We only want off-market sellers who own the property. That's it, right? So that's the first piece. Basically, once they fill out that survey, if they fill out the questions correctly, they become a lead. We tell Google, hey, this was a lead, and they start with that data, right? This is all done online. This section here, all done online. Of course, when the lead is generated, an email notification goes out to you and a SMS notification goes out, and it also hits your CRM, right? And this is going to be where the offline side starts. The offline side is basically where we are going to be telling Google exactly what happens with these leads and which keywords, which audiences are working, which ones aren't. And it's also going to allow Google to optimize based on these lead stages, right? So lead goes into CRM. And ultimately we have our funnel. We have top of our funnel, which is leads, middle of our funnel, which is qualified leads, and bottom of the funnel, which is contracts, okay? And we want Google to know, hey, when a lead became qualified. We want Google to know, hey, when a lead became a contract, right? This way, we're also feeding positive data back into Google, right? We're creating a feedback loop saying, hey, Google, this was good, this was good, this was good. And we're ultimately going to be able to use these, which are also conversion actions in Google, in our bid strategy. So we can later down the line tell Google, hey, we only want to bid for people who match our criteria of our qualified leads and even of our contracts, right? So this is all done offline. And this is what we've spent doing for the last few years, really getting this dialed in and creating a perfect system for PPC. So if you're looking to get this set up, we have a service we will set up your attribution tracking for you and help you with this. So just contact us and let us know that's what you're looking for. But here, this is really important, right? We're feeding this data back into Google because, guys, Google does not know inherently what a good lead is from a bad lead. It just doesn't know, right? So we're putting the good data in, right? People who make it through the survey, they are the seller, and it is off market. Gets to your CRM, you mark it as qualified, boom, we're telling Google, hey, this was a good lead, and then boom, when it's also a contract, right? And of course, that's going to lead to closed deals. So the next portion of this is our next problem, which is going to be problem number 2, attribution, right? And this is extremely important for every single marketing channel out there, but especially for PPC, because this is going to let you know exactly where your money is being made, all right? So for, let's say, cold calling, you pull a list of absentee owners, and you pull a list of vacant owners, you pull a list of maybe tax delinquent, and you upload them into the dialer in separate lists, in their own list, so they're not mixed. And it's easy to see, hey, we got this lead from this list because we can go and search the name on, which list, see where it came from, right? And what we're trying to establish is that, hey, which list is better, which one is more profitable, which one is yielding us a higher ROI, right? And we're doing the same thing here for ads. And the reason why this is so important is the number one problem I see for guys trying to run PPC in the space through managing millions of dollars in ad spend is one thing. And that's that they make emotional decisions. They don't make data-driven decisions. They make emotional decisions, right? They start their campaigns, they get everything running, and then they don't know what is causing them to have a bad week. They don't understand, that they need to let the campaign to continue running without going back and changing it before looking at the data, right? So the key here is spend the money, look at the data. Spend the money, look at the data. Just because you have a bad week doesn't mean you need to go back and change the ads. You do need to look at your data, monitor it, and make sure it doesn't get worse or it's bouncing back, right? Start to look at other parts of your process before the marketing, like your sales process. Did you guys hit speed to lead? Did they, have quality conversations? Do you even have enough leads to say this was a good enough sample size, right? So data speaks volumes, guys. It's the only thing that matters. So this is what it looks like once we get this set up in someone's account, right? Now, this is specifically for our clients, and we really, really go the extra mile for our clients to make sure that all their data is extremely clean, and we are able to create something that nobody else has out there. And the way we do this is, again, you have conversions. This is what everyone else sets up, right? The only columns that everyone else sets up is conversions, which is in Google, and cost per conversion, and then conversion rate. These three columns. Qualified leads, contracts, cost per qualified, and cost per contract are not in Google natively. You have to custom build them, all right? So here we can see, hey, out of 10 clicks, the client is getting 34% of them to convert to leads. So, 10 clicks, they'll get 3 to 4 leads. They've had 302 conversions total, 302 leads. 157 of them were considered qualified, and 20 of them were contracts. So if we did some math, 20 divided by 300. Let me take a look here. 300 divided by 20. They got 15 leads to a contract. That's pretty good. This client specifically is doing almost nationwide. They're doing about 10 states or so, more regional, but that's where they're at. So 15 leads to a contract. Here, they're paying $98 per lead. So these are search leads. These are the highest quality leads. They're paying $98 per lead, right? For qualified lead, they're paying $190. And then per contract, they're paying $1,493, all right? And the reason why this is so important is obviously we can see here, we're dumping more money into this campaign here because we saw that, hey, this one is really just, destroying and making a big difference in their campaign. They're converting at a higher rate. Their cost per qualified lead is the lowest. Their cost per contract is the lowest. Their cost per lead is the lowest. And it let us basically reallocate their marketing dollars to the appropriate campaign, right? So here you can see, hey, we have a $2,100 cost per lead. It's double. It's pretty much double what they're getting here. So it's obviously not performing better. This campaign here, this is all the same client, guys. This campaign here, this individual is going after a higher ticket, market, right? So just a more competitive market, and it took them, $4,000 to get a contract, right? So their cost per qualified lead was $216, and their cost per contract was $4,118. Now, the problem that I see here for this client, right, is they had 13 contracts out of 90 qualified leads. So if we do 90 divided by 13, they're closing 1 in 6.9 qualified leads. So when I see these numbers, 1 in 19 and 4 out of 38, I see a sales problem and not a marketing problem because the client is saying, hey, these are qualified. I'm just not closing them. So something with them on the phones is not working. So this is really important to look at. And this is exactly why we need all this data and whatnot, right? So we can even see this down all the way down to a keyword level. So here's a couple keywords, guys, that we've seen some performance for. Fast cash home offers looks like a great keyword. They were converting 87% of the clicks. Their cost per lead was $46. Cost per qualified, $92. And cost per contract, $323. All right. If you have this data in your account, you can honestly scale to the moon, right? You can really make a big impact in your business. And this is what my last thing is here is that, guys, this leads to two things. Once you have the lead quality figured out, once you have the attribution tracking dialed in, you know exactly where your money is being spent, you know all your metrics, and you have that, you have two things: confidence and scalability in your marketing campaign to make a shit ton of money, right? If you don't have that, you're just putting money into a black box and you're ultimately not being very effective, all right? So this is extremely important if you're a real estate investor running PPC. We've mastered running ads in this space and have been doing it for over 5 years. And I can almost guarantee you that nobody is doing this, right? So when you become a client of ours, you have a huge edge over competition because we're really going into the data and allocating all the funds appropriately. And we have all the data already, right? We're spending $250,000, a little bit over $250,000 a month on PPC at this moment. And it's only growing as every client we comes in and spends money. All right. So I just want to show you guys a couple of deals that have come from this client's campaign, right? So number one, they got Shelbyville, Kentucky. They did an ovation. They made $31,000 on this deal. Feel free to check it out. In the meantime, sat on the market for like a week, sold it, made 31 grand. Boom. Deal in Hawaii, Kauai Road. I don't know how to say that, somewhere in Hawaii. Picked this up as a wholesale deal. I think they got it at like $250. Ultimately sold it for $335. ARV on this place is like $550. So they made a killing. They made a whopping 85 grand. Last one here is going to be 2674 Pat Street in Tavares, Florida. This was a novation, right? So client cleaned it up a little bit, made some light repairs, and they're making a $48,000 assignment fee just on this one deal, right? So they're absolutely crushing it, and it's very scalable for them to put money into this campaign and get more money out. It's not uncommon that we're seeing investors who are getting 6-7x returns with our marketing on a consistent basis. So if it's interesting to you, you want to run PPC and you maybe have tried it yourself, or you tried it with a different company, or you even want to learn it on your own, we do have all those options. Just scan the QR code here on the screen. You'll go to our website. You can book a call and just let us know what you want to do, right? Let us know if you're interested in our management service or our coaching service, and we can explain exactly how that works for you. But guys, if you're going to run PPC, you need to figure out those two things: lead quality and attribution. If you have it, you're going to kick ass and make a ton of money. Take care.